Coach Matlock, the UTRGV baseball season starts Friday. Ring that bell! Woo! The UTRGV baseball preview special starts now. Matlock, sweet ride.
Man, I wish I could get me one of these bad boys. If we can win 40 games, I can get some more contractish. I might go buy one.
You heard it here, folks. North Park, Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. Coach Matlock's getting himself a new car. But until then, what do you say we go record a baseball preview special?
That's good.
It's the UTRGV Baseball Preview Special from North Park, Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. I'm Jonah Goldberg. This is the head coach of the UTRGV baseball team, Derek Matlock. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Coach, we're just a couple of days out from the start of your season. Get underway on Friday. How excited are you to get out there?
About as excited as the kids. I mean, it's just exciting times, you know. First part of the year, you're just excited to watch your kids come in and compete.
Well, tell us about your team. What can we expect to see this season?
Well, I think we definitely, through the recruiting process in the summer, we got more depth on the mound than we've ever had. You know, then we're key in the middle with Lancia back, Isaac and York, and then, of course, Damian Rodriguez in center. So we're very athletic and very defensive in the middle. And then with Martin and CJ on the corners, two old guys that can really hit and play defense. And then Hank Warren, a new addition from the infield, moved to the outfield that's having a great early spring. And then, of course, we got Torres in left. So, I mean, there's a lot of pieces that are still there. Cabral's still the Friday. The weekend guy, which is going to be Friday. And with a lot of new faces coming after that with Tyler Valdez, Jacob Lemus, and Randy Garza and EJ Miramont. There's a lot of them, so they're still competing right now. We couldn't tell you who's going to pitch for sure right now, but this weekend will tell us a lot.
That's an impressive thing to have that kind of pitching depth. You know, I remember last year we were talking about it, and we thought that you had a chance to go get those Tuesday games. And the funny thing about depth is you have depth until you don't have it anymore. But this year you went out and you got just a million guys who were throwing 95.
Well, we got a lot of guys with firm arms, good velo. The two injuries last year in our bullpen with Havlicek and Quinn really hurt us last year. So we're like, dang, we got to be even heavier because injuries can happen to anybody, you know, and you don't want injuries to ever be an excuse to not having a great year. So you got to have backups develop and come in and you know, step in there and be really productive.
You mentioned Alex Havlicek. He's somebody who's going to be exciting to watch. He's, first of all, you'll all know who he is when he comes out. He's got muscles on his muscles. And he, you may remember, pitched for Sam Houston and then transferred here, missed last season, now comes back. What can we expect to see from him?
Well, he's just got such a good arm. I think he's 25 years old. I mean, he's been here forever with COVID and everything. You're going to see a lot better breaking ball than he had at Sam. He's really developed and worked hard. His fastball's electric. It'll go up to 95, 96 with some arm side movement. He's got to do a better job controlling the running game, and that's what we're working on right now. And he's got to do a better job of being in the box instead of balls leaving the strike zone. But he's a powerful, competitive kid with experience, and we're excited to see what he does against another team.
He was a closer type with Sam Houston. Do you envision that kind of role or something more?
I mean, we're going to run his pitch count up. We ran him to 35 yesterday. We're going to run him to 50 next weekend, but, I mean, he could go either way. It depends on how he performs. He's got to perform better than he did last week to be a starter.
Angelo Cabral coming back. You mentioned him. He's a preseason all-WAC honoree. He was an all-region selection a year ago. This guy who's, every time you looked up, he was striking out somebody. What can we expect from him this year?
You know, what's nice is he's got a full year under his belt with a lot of innings. He didn't even do that in junior college. So it was kind of a long year for him at the end. You could tell he was a little tired, but now he's, you know, 15, 20 pounds heavier. He's been through the Division I schedule as a starter. He's got more velocity, and I think the makeup mentally, since he's been through it, I think that's going to prepare him. So we're excited. He's working really hard at his changeup. That's something that didn't show up a lot last year, and it's showing up a lot more this year. But, man, he's got a great breaking ball. So we're excited for a big year from him.
You mentioned Tyler Valdez when you're talking about some of the new pitchers who have come in. He's one of 3 Power 5 transfers that you've got new to your program this year, 6 total on your team, and he comes in from Arizona, and I think that he's the guy who brings another power arm.
I mean, he was good yesterday. He was probably the best arm on our staff this weekend, even though he's still going to be Saturday. He was better than Cabral. But Cabral's earned that Friday for now, and we just got to make sure Tyler's arm's healthy. He had some problems in the summer and fall, but he was, really, really good Saturday for 32 pitches.
I understand that when you guys had your orange and gray World Series at the end of the fall, he was one of, or maybe the last pick in the draft?
Well, he had been hurt, so we were building pitch count and just bullpen, so a lot of the coaches, position player coaches, hadn't seen him. So they're like going through the picks, and they don't know who he is. So he got mad, and I think the first ball he threw in the orange and gray was 95, and he was looking in their dugout at the coach going, "Hey, why didn't you pick me?" So it was good motivation for him, and he had 2 innings in the fall that were outstanding, and like I said, he just had a really good weekend.
Another returning guy, Zach Chalman, who was one of your best relievers last year, low ERA, he'd come out, 1-2 innings. You extended him a few times, I think. What do you envision his kind of role this year?
Well, we're just pushing him to be a starter because we've always noticed that the first 8 to 10 pitches, he's just trying to get Phil out there, and that's what starters do in the first inning. If you're going to beat a good arm, you beat him in the first inning, because once he gets going, it's sometimes really hard to beat those guys. But so we're running his pitch count up. He didn't throw as good yesterday as I would have liked. He's got a power breaking ball. He's been up to 95. Just inconsistent velo. I think yesterday he was 90-91. It's early, but power breaking ball. We need this guy to jump in a row and be an older guy and perform more consistent. And if he does, he could have an outstanding year.
Some of your other newcomers, back to the Power 5 transfers, Tyler Davis, another one of these guys who comes in. I know he was a lockdown reliever in the past at Yavapai, the same school that produced Kevin Stevens, who's now with the Yankees organization, and I think will be in the big leagues by the end of the year. So what do you think the fans will get to see from him?
Well, he lost a lot of confidence at the University of Arizona last year, going through an arm change the coach tried to do with him. He had a really good outing last time out. He's got a downhill fastball that'll go up to 5, and he's an outstanding breaking ball too. He's just got to get some confidence. He's kind of had an up and down roller coaster fall and spring, but we're just crossing our fingers and trying to make him believe in himself. But he's definitely got good stuff. I mean, Jacob Lemus, make sure we talk about him because he looks like he's going to be the Sunday. He's 94, 95 with sync, and he's a junior college, El Paso junior college transfer. And right now, if I had to pull the trigger, it'd be Cabral, Valdez, Lemus. Lemus has been outstanding with really power stuff.
You mentioned DJ Miramontes a few minutes ago. What can you tell us about him?
He's a 90-92. He would have been the junior college pitcher of the year in that conference, but he hurt his hamstring, so they kind of started backing him down on innings because his hamstring was hurting. But he was one of the best pitchers in that junior college league. He's probably going to sit behind Cabral on Friday night and then give us a righty-lefty mix kind of to get in there because our pitch counts are low. And then he could end up bouncing to Saturday to start, Sunday to start. I mean, he's a really competitive kid, good changeup and a good slider. So we're excited about him. He's tough.
And then Francisco Paco Hernandez, another new arm who I know has been impressive at times.
Man, he finally, he had a little bit of stuff going on with his shoulder, so we babied him. We shut him back down a week, and then he's about a week behind pitch count of the other guys, but boy, he had a good day yesterday, and I think he threw 14 pitches and had a really clean 3-out inning, and so we're excited about him. He's a real competitive kid with extension from Laredo and just got good makeup and really buys into our culture, and I'm excited to watch him compete too.
You also mentioned Randy Garza earlier, and he's a guy who at times has shown these flashes of brilliance. How can you get him to do that on a consistent basis?
He sure has done it this fall and this early spring. I'm so proud of him, and I think his velo's been 89, 91, and I think that's better fits him. I think he was overthrowing in the years past because he's been up to 95, 94, and that didn't really do good for him. But he had a really good outing too. He's the kind of guy that could sit behind Tyler Valdez on Saturday, a lefty, and us could do another righty-lefty mix as we get our pitch counts up, because we'll only be at 65 that first weekend. So we'll double those two long guys up every game and try to get to the end. And if they can pitch well, hopefully they can finish the game without any relievers.
With this kind of pitching, with this kind of depth, Tuesdays are something that come into play in a big way, or Monday, Wednesday, whenever your non-conference midweek game is. And I think that that's become much more important for the WAC in recent years. The WAC has become a two-bid league, so even if you don't win the tournament, you could still make it if you win your non-conference midweeks.
100%. The conference is so good now. You can't even win in the conference tournament if you don't have a pitching staff that's deep. It's too hard a tournament. You got to have a fourth starter. I mean, you can't try to piece it together like we've had to do in the past. And it's got to be a guy that's running out there every Tuesday, and he's just like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And if you look at the past, we've always really kind of figured out Friday, Saturday, Sunday and kind of competed in there. But we've either been short in the pen or short on Tuesday. And well, we got our fingers crossed that we can get some guys to be consistent and take care of that Tuesday.
Well, we've talked a lot about pitching, and certainly pitching wins championships. We're going to take a timeout, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little hitting, we're going to talk a little defense, and get you ready for this weekend's opening series against Rhode Island. This is the UTRGV Baseball Preview Special from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley.
In a growing community, we are two news teams working for you.
You get the same quality of journalism.
Whether it's on Channel 5 News or Noticias RGV.
We combine bilingual anchors and reporters to inform you in both English y Español.
With the largest weather team, we work to protect you and your family during severe weather.
When you need to understand what's happening in the RGV, turn to the team that understands you.
2 channels, 2 languages, your choice.
Channel 5 News and Noticias RGV.
If you've been injured in a serious accident or arrested on serious charges, you need an attorney that will fight for you in court. Trust attorney Carlos A. Garcia, because serious cases require a serious lawyer. Call us at 956-584-1448, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Town Place Suites by Marriott, Edinburgh's newest destination spot and a host hotel of UTRGV Athletics, with the amenities that a frequent long-stay traveler or visiting team in town to take on the V-Nation looks for. The nightlife is amplified with Ignite Lounge, a great way to wrap up a long workday or celebrate a big win. Town Place Suites by Marriott on Trenton, in between Business 281 and Sugar Road, and minutes away from the excitement of UTRGV. Town Place Suites by Marriott, Edinburgh.
When you picture yourself at a Dallas Cowboys game, you never picture yourself planning it. And why should you? That's what we're here for. RGV Tours takes all of the stress and hassle out of doing the things you love. Book your game tour with us and enjoy the NFL experience, an epic tailgate party, and more. We secure your tickets and get you there and back in a private charter bus while you focus on the real action. Visit rgvtours.com to book your Cowboys game tour today. And above all, relax. We know the road.
Welcome back to North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. It's the UTRGV Baseball Preview Special. I'm Jonah Goldberg. He's Derek Madlock, the head coach of the UTRGV baseball team. He's a pitching savant, and we spent the first half of the show talking pitching. But somebody is going to have to catch those balls and score at least a run for these guys if you're going to win.
No doubt. Well, we've got some guys catching it and throwing it around in there in the infield and outfield that we're really excited about.
So let's go around position by position. In catcher, you've got Steven Lancia coming back, and then you've also got Rudy Gonzalez from Vela, who redshirted last year, coming on strong.
Oh, they're both outstanding. The thing that Steve has over him is a little bit more accurate thrower. They both throw the ball really well. Rudy's really good at blocking and moving. Lancia's got the edge just because of experience, but boy, Rudy's had a great fall and a great early spring. We really could catch both those guys, and we feel really confident about both of them.
That's a great spot to be in, to have that kind of catching depth. And you know, what is impressive to me is you understand, of course you understand, that it's about catching. You didn't even mention the fact that Lancia hit like 330 last year.
Yeah, no doubt. And you can't have a hole in your lineup, so you're really not wanting to be defensive in the spot and being out in the lineup. He's the one that comes up when runners are in scoring position, but they've both been really offensive, and they've both done an outstanding job. And then if you go to Julius Ramirez, a freshman kid as a third catcher, he's been pretty solid, and he's really developing. So he's a big, strong power right-handed hitter. So we feel really comfortable with the 3 guys back there that can, with the injuries, because you know how hard that position is with injuries. We feel pretty good that we're deep enough back there. If something happens, we're going to be fine back there.
Let's move around the diamond. Let's go to first base, where you lose a 400 hitting, 20 home run guy in Brandon Pimentel to the Washington Nationals, and yet you're not really worried about what's going to happen there.
Well, I would never want to compare these guys to Pimentel, but boy, they're two good ones. Martin Vasquez and Armani. Man, Ragosa outstanding. One's a El Paso High School Player of the Year the year before last, and he's doing the DH spot right now because Martin's such a good defender, a kid from Cherryland. But both those guys are outstanding hitters, man. Power-oriented guys that can hit for average and not strikeout guys. And that's not real common at first base sometimes, but I'm really excited about both those guys, and I think it's going to be hard for both those guys not to be in the lineup every game. And Martin's probably the better defender, so it looks like Martin will get the nod there on the defense starting the first day.
Move over to second base, and another Valley kid. You've got Isaac Lopez, a two-time WAC All-Defensive pick.
Oh yeah, Isaac could play any position on the infield for us. The big thing he's got to do is he's got to hit consistent over the year. You know, last year I think he was probably 9 home runs, hitting 425, and looked like he was going to be the player of the year in the conference. I really was like, this guy's going to be the player of the year, and really hit a little speed bump with a lot of breaking balls that he was chasing out of the strike zone. But he's grown up and he's gotten big. He's kind of had some hamstring. And Eric Martinez, another kid from El Paso, has been covering second base really well, hitting, playing defense. So we have 2 guys in there. Both those guys can play anywhere in the infield, and they're really offensive. But Isaac's the kind of kid that could be the player of the year. He's got to have a good year and put it together, but he could play short just as easy as York. But it's nice to have 2 shortstops in the middle.
Really expands your defense. Cade York, a guy who maybe should have been an all-defensive selection. Whether he was or wasn't doesn't change the fact that he sparkles out there.
Yeah, I know. I had you send me the stats on Isaac's year at short being all WAC and York's season at short last year, and it was unbelievable. The only thing that was different is the double plays turned. And it was probably because Isaac was a second, because he's such a good job at turning the double play. So that's the reason we had to make that move, because Isaac turns it over. But boy, York he might have a little bit of a step on Isaac at short, which he needs to because of the range. But you talk about a guy that's fundamentally sound, and Cade York, head down, just playing the ball all over the infield, and he's exciting to watch on defense. He's been such an outstanding defender, and I think he's got a chance to have a big offensive year. We've been hitting him in the leadoff spot. He's kind of cut down, swinging the balls out of the strike zone, and he's had a really good early spring by getting on a lot. He hit a home run off of somebody the other day to start the inter squad, and it was pretty fun to watch.
So let's see, first base, Gold Glove, second base, Gold Glove, shortstop, Gold Glove. What's coming up at third base?
Well, that's kind of been our little thorn in our side. You know, we filled at 833 last year with a bunch of guys playing there, and that was really our weakness. So we went out, Coach Martinez did, and landed a transfer from Purdue, an all-conference Big Ten guy year before last. He's kind of been a second baseman. As a matter of fact, he was a second baseman with York at Yavapai. But boy, he's worked hard at third. He plays below the ball with his hand. He's really athletic. He reminds me of Andy Atwood, a kid that played up to AA with the Tigers. Same type of player. I think he's going to have an outstanding year. He hasn't done it a lot, so we've got to be patient with him. But he's working really hard, and he's the kind of guy that can sit in that lineup and hit the ball in the ballpark. He's got a lot of power. So, man, we're fired up about the experience piece of going there instead of a young guy. But the guy sitting behind him was probably one of the best offensive players. Another El Paso High School Player of the Year, Easton Mumal. And, man, he's been outstanding offensively. Defense this early spring, been kind of disappointed in him. But he's getting better. He's doing early work, and he's getting better. But there's 2 good third basemen. One hits from the right side and one hits from the left side, which is the same thing at first base, which is good sometimes to match up if you got a lefty that, left-handed hitters are hitting $150. It makes me easy to make a move and go to the other side of the plate to make it harder on the pitcher. So good opportunity to have those guys on the corners.
You've had some turnover in the outfield, but one place where you stay consistent, Adrian Torres, who was your starting left fielder, comes back.
You know what's funny about him is people don't really know. He's coming out of El Paso with Pimentel, the big Haas first baseman from Texas, which they called, I can't even remember what they called him, the whatever from El Paso.
Yeah.
He's going to be in the big leagues, and he just he was the only one drafted in the 10th round or whatever out of El Paso, out of all those great players. So he's kind of hidden in there, a guy that's hitting the ball the other way with more power. Just a kid he's played a lot of baseball. He's got a lot of experience. He's a great leader. He doesn't let the game beat him. Just excited to see him have another year where he played the whole year, because he didn't play that much on the transfer from Grand Canyon, and now he's played a full year in the summer. So I'm excited what kind of year he can put together, because he put together a good year last year.
I think what I love the most about Torres is every time, he's a left-handed hitter, and you put him out there against the lefty, and I think his batting average might have been higher against left-handed pitchers.
Yeah, he's just a good, solid hitter, and what a great kid, great defender, great thrower. He's going to be a guy that's fighting to be an all-conference type guy if he can put together a year he's capable of putting together. So we're fired up for him.
How about center field?
Well, Damian Rodriguez is a guy that didn't get to play a lot last year. He come to us from A&M Kingsville, and he was an infielder. And he's not a terrible infielder, but he's definitely showed that he's got plus tools in the outfield. He can really run, he can throw. He's thrown so many guys out, and he's been so offensive. Coach Martinez has calmed him down without a big step. I think that's what cost him from playing a lot last year, swinging and missing. But he's probably the most electric player on our field, from running bases to going and catching balls in the gap. And he's had a really good early spring too. Showed some power the other way, and he is a spark plug. He is fun to watch. He plays with his hair on fire every day, and it's exciting. I hope that guy can stand there and put together a really good year. We have a freshman with the hammock bone that's getting removed probably tomorrow, so that'll put him out. And we have a transfer, Jalen Freeman, who's probably one of the best athletes on the team that can get in there and fill in too. But Damian's definitely won the position through the fall and the early spring, and he'll have his chance to go take over and have a full year.
Well, it gives you starters from the Rio Grande Valley at first base, second base, center field on a regular basis. And then what can we expect to see in right field?
Well, Hank Warren was an infielder catcher, come to us from Northeast Junior College, had elbow surgery. There's a lot of people saying he's one of the best hitters in Texas. And the junior college coach said that in the fall, but then he had Tommy John, and last year kind of didn't get to do a lot, trying to find out where he could play. We took a little whim because he was so offensive and put him in the outfield one day, and he gets the first two balls. One's over the top up against the wall, he goes and catches, and then one's in front, he goes and jumps out and lays out and makes a big catch. And boy, he made a big time catch yesterday in the gap. So boy, and he's been offensive. He is an electric player, just a good, hard-nosed, blue-collar kid that loves to play. And it's fun to see a guy that couldn't find a home and get to play, really just kick the door down and take over a position, and he'll be the starting right fielder, and I'll be really surprised if anybody can take it from him.
Well, we've gone around all the positions. I think we have a pretty good idea of what your team's going to look like. And while you've been preparing for this season, you've had a few guys in camp who have been our alumni. Brandon Pimentel, who just graduated, all-time leading home run hitter. He's with the Washington Nationals. Kevin Stevens, one of the best pitchers to come through here, is with the New York Yankees organization. What's it been like having them around the guys?
Well, they love coming there. The weather helps them, but they love coming back. I mean, we're players first, coaches, and we're going to let them guys develop themselves in the off season before spring training. And it was funny. Kevin threw on Sunday. He threw Sunday. We had 3 balls hit pretty hard off of him. He was 95, 97. So we're like, all right, Kevin, you got 15 pitches, see if you can get us out. And Cade York's our leadoff. He hit a ball pretty hard to left, we caught. And then Torres hit a ball hard. Then Armani hit a ball hard. And Steve's sitting down there low in the lineup, and Steve's always hit Kevin really well. And so they had a couple words coming off because I said, hey, Kevin, that's enough. And Steve's like, yeah, you're scared of me. And Kevin goes, why don't you hit higher in the lineup and you'd face me? So they had a little bit of a tiff, and I was like, guys, quit it. But boy, it's fun having those guys around. They're professionals, and it gives our kids a chance to see how you're supposed to work and how you're supposed to act if you're going to be a professional. And I think it's a good mentorship.
UTRGV baseball opens the 2024 season this Friday at 6:30 p.m. against the University of Rhode Island. It's the first of a 4-game series. They'll be at UTRGV Baseball Stadium Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. For tickets, go to goutrgv.com/tickets. Get yours now, because UTRGV Baseball's got more than 30 home games. They're home for the first 4 weekends, and you don't want to miss a game. You can not only get season tickets, you can get mini plans, half a season, quarter season, Sundays only, individual tickets. Go utrgv.com/tickets. He's Derek Matlock. He's the head coach of the UTRGV baseball team. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back to wrap things up after this. This is the UTRGV baseball preview special from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley.
This is a walk-on athlete. They train longer, put their heart into the game. This is the passion we're built on. It's why we put our heart into creating game day with a taste of Louisiana. Walk-ons, we live for this.
In the minute it takes to knock back your drink, spot your new crush, or cheer on the home team, you could do something that really makes a difference. Sign up as an organ donor. In less than a typical timeout, you could sign up to save 8 lives. It sure beats using a minute to mustard that hot dog. Sign up at tosa1.org.
Bobby, Killer Scout has new lower pricing for you and new members.
Existing members should also get new pricing.
Existing members do get new pricing.
All members get new pricing.
That's right, all members.
What about non-members?
Non-members also get new pricing.
Everyone gets new pricing.
Everyone gets new pricing.
Everyone.
Everyone. Everyone.
Good. My work is done here. It's time to go practice and play.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Now hiring awesome crew. Apply at work@canes.com.
Thanks for tuning in for the UTRGV Baseball Preview Special from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. Big thanks to UTRGV Baseball head coach Derek Matlock for joining us this week. We'll be back for the UTRGV Football Signing Day Spectacular with Vaqueros head coach Travis Bush. If you want to catch archived episodes, you can do so at goutrgv.com/coacheshow. But for now, this is Jonah Goldberg saying so long from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. This has been the UTRGV Baseball Preview Special. Get your V's up.